The 8-bit arcade glitch, part 3/3. The golden light from the mainframe surged outward, hitting the giant pixelated hand with the force of a crashing wave. It wasn't just a blast. It was a rewrite. The jagged, orange glowing blocks began to smooth out, turning into soft, translucent bubbles of data that floated harmlessly toward the ceiling. "It's working!" Emily shouted over the hum of the machine, her braids whipping in the magical gale. Dad gripped the manual override lever, his blue cybernetic eye whirring as he monitored the stabilization. "The core is purging the corruption, Emily. But we're not alone in the stream." On the flickering screen of the main frame, the words "Player 2 joined the game" pulsed in a deep, glitchy violet. Beside them, a shadow detached itself from the wall, a shimmering, pixelated silhouette that looked exactly like Emily, but made of shifting static. The inventor let go of the lever and reached for a heavy brass canister on his belt. "A mirror glitch," he muttered, his brow furrowed. "Bingo, stay sharp. It's trying to copy our exit code." Bingo planted her paws, her solid black fur bristling as she bared her teeth at the flickering double. The warehouse began to groan as the reality started to fold in on itself. Walls turned into cascading waterfalls of emerald code, and the floor beneath Emily's feet felt like it was turning into liquid. "The whole level is derezzing," Emily cried, stumbling as a nearby arcade cabinet vanished into a puff of pixels. Bingo lunged forward, her mechanical front leg hitting the shifting floor with a solid thud. She caught Emily's sleeve in her teeth, pulling the girl back toward the center of the platform, just as the edge dissolved into a bottomless black void. "We need a bridge," Dad shouted. He realized the player 2 inches shadow was tethered to the mainframe's output port. If they didn't sever the connection, they would be trapped in the deletion process. He looked at Bingo's mechanical leg, which was still glowing from the earlier encounter. "Bingo, I need your conductive core. Connect the port to the override." Bingo understood. She stepped toward the golden cabinet and pressed her metal limb against a brass terminal. A spark of red and blue light jumped between the dog and the machine. The player 2 inches shadow let out a silent digital scream as the connection was forced closed. It shattered into a million sparkling fragments that swirled around the room like snow. The inventor grabbed Emily's hand, his rugged face etched with urgency. "That's it. The exit portal is opening near the loading dock." Through the haze of dissolving code, a rift appeared, a swirling vortex of steam and copper light that smelled of coal and old oil. "The rust bucket," Emily cheered, recognizing the familiar scent of their home. "Run!" Emily commanded, her gravity boots giving her an extra burst of speed as she raced across the narrowing bridge of reality. Bingo was a black streak beside her, the red light of her bionic eye cutting through the green digital fog. The warehouse was falling away piece by piece, leaving nothing but the vast, empty darkness of the vacuum between worlds. Emily leapt over a widening crack, her yellow hoodie flapping behind her like a banner of hope. The steampunk bus, the rust bucket, was visible through the rift, its brass pipes hissing steam into the void. Dad reached the edge of the dissolving warehouse floor and threw his heavy tool belt onto the bus's metal ramp to weigh it down. "Jump, Emily, now." He caught her mid-air as she leaped from the vanishing ledge, swinging her onto the safety of the bus's iron stairs. They both turned back, their hearts sinking, as they realized the gap was growing too wide for a normal jump. Bingo stood on the very last square of the arcade floor, the giant Newfoundland looking tiny against the encroaching darkness. "Bingo, come on!" Dad roared, leaning out over the railing of the rust bucket. Bingo didn't hesitate. She used every ounce of power in her mechanical leg to propel her massive black body across the chasm. Her red eye glowed with fierce determination. Dad stretched his arm out as far as it would go, his blue eye locked onto the flying dog. With a heavy oomph, Bingo slammed into Dad's chest, her weight nearly knocking him off the ramp. Emily scrambled over and helped pull the big dog inside. They tumbled into the warm, cluttered interior of the rust bucket just as the rift snapped shut behind them with a sound like a closing book. The silence of the bus was a sharp contrast to the digital chaos they had left behind. Emily buried her face in Bingo's thick, soot-smelling fur, feeling the dog's tail give a tired, rhythmic thump against the floor. Dad walked to the front of the bus and collapsed into the pilot's chair, wiping grease and digital dust from his forehead. He flipped a series of brass switches, and the rust bucket's engines began to hum a comforting tune. "We made it," he sighed, looking back at Emily and Bingo with a weary smile. But as he turned to the navigation screen, a small icon in the corner began to blink. It was a violet silhouette, identical to the one in the warehouse. Underneath it, a single line of text remained, Player 2 still connected.